Hey guys, so there's something I have been thinking about a lot lately, and that is consistency in my spiritual practice. Now, as most of you know, because I've mentioned it many times before on my channel, I have been a practicing pagan since I was 15 years old. I just turned 34 a month ago today, and throughout that entire time, I have remained in my beliefs. My beliefs have changed quite a bit. They've morphed, they've gone through waxing and waning phases. They have gone down different avenues that I quite didn't honestly think I would end up, but they have still remained the same. I'm going to kind of sip on this as I talk. It's been kind of a busy day, so I'm trying to decompress, but I really wanted to record something tonight, and I've just been thinking about this, and so I figured I'd kind of talk out loud about it. So the one thing that I have struggled with continuously throughout this entire time between the age of 15 to now is consistency in my spiritual practice. And it is something that I have given myself a lot of grief about. And I keep thinking, why can't I be more consistent? I feel like I would have more of a stronger connection with my deities, with my intuition, with every door that I want to open. And what initially brought me to paganism still has not been to my expectations, I guess. I honestly thought if I went back in time and talked to my 15-year-old self, and she asked me where I was now, I would give her answers that would surprise her. And it would be things that she might honestly even feel disappointed about. And then there's other things I think she'd feel pretty good about. But it's always kind of interesting if you think about, that point in time. But I keep giving myself so much grief over my inconsistent nature in my practice, my continuous practice. And over the last, I'd say, year and a half, I have consistently been more, I've been troubleshooting more and more on what I can do to remedy this situation. I have been following the moon cycles closely. I've been following the seasons more closely. I've been paying attention to those sorts of things and being more mindful of those things around me because it makes me feel more grounded and connected with everything and my path. I've gone so far as to, of course, write the moon phases in my planner. I have set up a moon altar above my main working altar where I change out cards from the Moonology Oracle to show the different moon phases. I've been trying to leave more regular offerings consistently to the point where I will always leave a small cup of water on my altar for the dead. And then I have been trying consistently each day to at least sit in altar space with my candles lit, even if it's for 5 minutes. I've been trying to do it. And I've been trying to do it around the same time every day, which most people would say, like, I'll get up early, I'm gonna do it then. I can't do that, guys. I am not a morning person. I roll out of bed because my kids are begging for breakfast. I'm cloudy for like 2.5 hours after I wake up. It's ridiculous. Like, I have to sit and drink my coffee and be still before my brain can fully kick on. My brain in the morning is like a computer from 1992. It's just not gonna happen. It's slow. It hates life. So me thinking, I'm gonna wake up before my kids and I'm gonna sit at my altar and I'm gonna be consistent and I'm gonna be a morning person, that is just not me, and that is not realistic, and it's just not something I can do. I don't think I am ever going to be a morning person. Aside from the fact that I'm constantly caring for my children, this is why you see videos mostly at night for me, is because this is when my brain is the most active. This is when my creativity comes alive. This is when my thoughts, my ideas, my spiritual energy peaks. I am just a night person. So getting up in the morning to try and have a consistent spiritual practice, that's not going to work. I'm just going to accept it. That is not me. But I have been trying to consistently do it a little bit in the afternoon, which is nice because the sun is coming in through my window at that point. And so usually if it's a nice day, I can kind of pay attention to that as well. But usually I have, he will be 3 tomorrow. My youngest, he still naps, thankfully, in the afternoon for a few hours. And then my oldest usually has a point in time in his room for about an hour to do a quiet activity. And this is mostly to teach him independent play, to teach him to do more quiet activities, but also to give him some time to recharge and to give me some time to recharge, most of all, because I am an introverted person. I'm a highly sensitive person, and it can be very overwhelming to be a mother. So in that time, I have tried to consistently sit at my altar. I can't go into any sort of meditation. I'm still caring for my children. I'm still the only adult in my house. So, and for me to be able to really get much out of meditation, I have to be able to have headphones on and really kind of immerse myself in what's happening. So oftentimes that will occur at night, where my husband can take over the monitor and just be there if my kids make any noise or anything like that. So meditation doesn't work, at least for me, if I am the only person that's caring for my children in the house in the afternoon. However, I can just sit at my altar. I can light my candles. I can draw my daily card. I can say a blessing to my deities. I can be present in that moment and be aware of what I am experiencing. And the thing I think I have learned the most over the time between being 15 and stepping into this path and going through everything that I've gone through between 15 and now at 34, is that I need to understand that my expectations are going to be very different from the reality of what I'm experiencing with my craft. And I personally find that I am being very hard on myself for I think I completely downplay my ability as a witch, as a practicing pagan, and I'm going to mention something just because this kind of sparked this thought. Last night I caught just the tail end of Brittany Palm Tree Bewitchery's live, which she had a special guest who was Keldon, and he has written a book called the Crook Path. I have yet to read the book. I need to pick it up, but I'm very much looking forward to it. That aside, there was a moment where she had asked him how he felt about writing a book. And he said that the biggest thing that he was kind of still trying to wrap his head around when he was writing it was, what business do I have to do this? What business do I have to say these things? Am I not worthy? How am I to be the person who brings this knowledge out into the world? It's kind of that, do I really know shit, you know? And it really stuck with me, because I tend to look at my path that way. I kind of tend to look at it like, what am I doing? Am I really a badass witch? And then I think about everything that I have gone through on a personal level, and the fact that the consistent thing in my life that has remained through the hardest moments in my life, for the most part, has been my spiritual practice. And that has carried me through extremely dark times. And it's my resilience that has been able to make me realize that I am a badass witch, and there's nothing wrong with saying that. So I think what I decided to do shortly before the new moon, which is today, was I had thought I'd start to write down in my book of mirrors, well, okay, what do I want to manifest? Because I realized that When I have a issue in my life, magic is the last thing I go to. And there's many reasons for that, but I'm starting to understand that most of them aren't good. It's mostly because I want to explore all the other logical avenues first before I go to the altar. But why? Why is that? Why do I feel the need to do that? I don't understand. Yes, obviously, there are many, many times in life where you should seek out other avenues first before you turn to magic. But I have taken that to such an extreme that I don't practice in the way that I think that I should. When, like I said, when I have an issue that comes up in my life, I often forget that magic is even an option. And I'm sitting here thinking, well, what now do I want to manifest? So I opened up my Book of Mirrors and I wrote this down, and I started to just explore, thinking, what sort of magic can I do to get me hands-on at the altar? And the thing that I came up with was this very issue of, I don't feel like a badass witch. And I think that I think it's high time that I let go of that and I start empowering myself. And what's going to help me, first of all, is consistency in my spiritual practice. I do believe this, but I also believe that being gentle with my expectations and with myself is something that I also need to be very mindful of, and how I view myself, how I speak to myself when it comes to going through the motions of trying to get myself more hands-on with my spiritual practice. I am a stay-at-home mother. I have 2 young children. A lot of the time, I'm very, very exhausted. I also have chronic pain. I have depression. I have anxiety. I have a lot of things on my plate that tend to just kind of crush me a lot. And that's okay too. Take a drink of my tea. So I think it's okay to be gentle with my expectations on this. But what I had hoped to manifest was a spell to basically get my creative, magical juices, energy, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, flowing. Get myself more hands-on, get myself more confident in my abilities as a witch. Because if I go back to that 15-year-old self and I tell her that I'm still struggling with this, she would be disappointed, because she had expectations that I would have somehow gone much further. But the one thing that she didn't know is that self-love is a constant practice. You don't just wake up one day and suddenly you're fine. It's just something that you constantly work on. It's something that you're constantly aware of. And having the awareness of that makes you really grow. And that's something that 15-year-old me, she didn't understand. And that's okay, because who at 15 really does? But, hello, Prue. But the thing is that I'm here and I want to do the work. Because the thing is, I just said that twice. I'm sorry, guys. What I'm starting to understand is that when it comes to being consistent in spiritual practice, I do think something that does help is trying to do it around the same time every day. I actually read that if you want to form a habit, that's something that's really helpful. The other thing that I'm finding that is really helpful is showing the fuck up if I don't feel like it. The other day, was sitting on my bed, and it was that time of day where I was like, I should be sitting at my altar for a little bit, and I was just like, I don't want to move. I'm exhausted. I'm in pain. I just don't want to move. And then I thought, no, you need to get up. You need to sit there. I don't care if it's 5 minutes. You need to do it, because this will just enrich you, and it's for you, and it's not for anybody else. No one is checking in on us. No one is telling us that we need to be consistent in our spiritual practice. So we have to hold ourselves accountable. And it's strange because I'm saying this with such passion behind it, and I hope it doesn't get misconstrued because I was just saying it's important to be gentle with yourself. But I think that you need to find a balance as well between, okay, I need to show up, and okay, but my expectations are like way up here, and they need to be about here, where that's a little bit more reasonable. I I just have struggled with this for so long, and I have just kind of wanted to talk about it with you guys and get some of my voice out here on why this is such a epic pain to be so consistent in my spiritual practice and some of the things that I'm experimenting with. I really want to turn to magic more. I really want to be more in tune with the seasons and the cycles of the moon and be aware of what's happening in the sky and the energy about, and my own energy and the energy of those around me, and also the energy of those around me who are no longer living, because that is something that consistently in my life has been a thing. Pardon me. I'm going to take a sip of my tea again. So I'm starting to understand that there's more you can do at the altar that doesn't have to be big and extravagant. And that is such a misconception and a mistake that I made when I was younger, that it's got to be this just big blown out ritual. No, light your candles and just sit there. Trust me, it'll make you feel better. That's something that I've really been trying to understand myself. So that's it for this video tonight, guys. I just kind of wanted to, like I said, share my headspace on this, get this out into the universe, into the internet, onto my channel, and hopefully you guys can share some of your tips, your thoughts, and anything else that you might want to comment on down below. I really greatly appreciate all the comments, and yeah, that's it for tonight, guys. Blessed be.